Welcome back to Cards and Comics, guys. Today I have another comic related update. But hold on, guys. Hold on. I do have one card to show off. So, card guys, card bros, don't leave. Please stay to at least see the cool card I have because you'll want to see it. It's a really cool card. Okay, now I went to the Albany Comic Con for the first time in many years because after COVID it kind of went away. It may have came back and I didn't notice it, but this was the first one I've seen in a while. It's in a new venue. It's in the same place as the Albany Sports Card Show. Now, this weekend, the Father's Day weekend, there is a card show down in Albany from a different promoter. So that's cool. So I may run down and go to that show. And hit another sports card show, and that'd be cool. Like to comic book one weekend, sports cards the next, and that's kind of fun. So the first thing I'm going to show you is some local artists, or some, I guess is local because she went to the show. But here's an artist. Her name is Nicole Jelinek. This is her book, and this is her signature. And she's doing a book with Jim Starlin, which is cool, or Starlin. Who did a lot of the cosmic Marvel stuff. Really cool writer. And she's got great artwork. And she also did this print of Poison Ivy here that I picked up. So I thought it was a great print. So I bought her book. Want to read it and see if it's any good. But it seems like the artwork at least is going to be really good. And she was very, very nice to talk to. So it was off to a good start. I also purchased another print. I usually don't buy a lot of prints at shows. I don't have a lot of space to hang stuff up, but obviously for stuff I really like, if I see it, like characters and things like that. And here's another one. Here's a Death and Sandman print. I just felt like I had to grab this. And again, Death is one of my favorite characters, and Sandman, I've read it again, or I started reading it again. I've listened to the audio version of it, and season 1 on Netflix was pretty amazing, honestly. So there you go, another cool print. And then I also bought some original art, and this is the first original art I've bought in a long time. And so I'll show you the original art, and I'll talk about the artist in a second. So this is Justice League. This is from Brightest Day. So kind of one of those crossover events. But this is a lot of the Justice League. Interestingly enough, they're dead. A lot of them. You can see they're in the morgue. But it's got a lot of good characters. You got Superman, Martian Manhunter, Wonder Woman, who looks like she might be dead. There's the Manhunter. So anyway, interesting page from Brightest Day. And so, I thought that was awesome to get. I'm a big Justice League fan. Just a lot of cool characters from the Justice League there. And I did buy a comic book from the artist. His name is his last name is Champagne, but I want to say it's Ken or Keith. Sorry, it's Keith Champagne. He was on a lot of Marvel and DC books in the day. We had some good conversations about what it was like to work for Marvel and DC back in the day. There's his signature. And he said this is his most proud book he's ever worked on Daybreak. So I went ahead and bought it. And I'm just looking forward to reading it because it looks like it might be cool. And again, I support local artists no matter what. And, just it's fun to pick up books and things that people buy and create. Again, this seems like almost like do-it-yourself publishing, and which is a lot of it is. New Pain is the publisher here, but again, it's probably financed almost probably by the creators for the most part. So that's cool. And again, he was like, "This is like my favorite artwork I've ever done." So it's cool. I'm going to read it, and just like with the other book I bought, again, it's all about like supporting some artists, but again, getting a page from a Justice League related book was awesome. He worked on Excalibur back in the day, in the 80s. He had a page of Excalibur for sale that I almost bought. It was $500. It was expensive, but he had an original art that he worked on from Excalibur, which is one of my favorite Marvel series. So I almost bought that. I really almost bought that. I was very intrigued. Getting caught up a little bit in the X-Men 97 thing. I did buy X-Men #1, the like the classic #1 cover here, which it's getting all the pub now with the show out, so I thought it was kind of fun. Just I don't have this book, so I grabbed it for $10. And again, you could probably get it on Whatnot or something cheaper for $5 or whatever. Now, here's a really cool set I picked up, and this actually was a set I've been looking for a long time. And I'm going to break it down. Oops. And show you each book because I think it's got some of the coolest cover art. Anyway, I just think the cover art for this series was really cool. It's a really nice, I just think, interesting presentation for Wolverine. It's snicked. And again, I think this is, I think, the artist here. It's like a manga style, but I just love how Wolverine looks in this. It's such a cool look. I would love to see either an animated or a TV series based on this kind of version of Wolverine. So here's the covers. You can see them all here. That's why I bought the whole set, because I think all the covers are cool as heck. I like the different, the monochrome visual here. But again, Snicked is one of those really cool, I think anyway, series. And it's $15 for what, 5 books. So it's like $3 a book. How are you really going to say that this is a bad deal? Okay. Especially given that cover art, which is, I think, all pretty amazing. And again, I love that monochrome. And again, I've seen a lot of people take this and just take all 5 books and make a little display they've hung up because everyone, for the most part, loves the artwork. I think my favorite one in the series, I like that one a lot. And I like the second cover a lot too. So, but like a lot of people just, get #1. You see this book quite often on Whatnot or people that sell comic books because, it's just the first in the series. But I do think if you're going to buy that series, buy all 5 books because all covers are really cool in that series. So, Snicked 5 books for $15. So that was a good deal. I'm going to get into the graded comics here in a minute. But I also picked up The Human Target, Tom King, Greg Smallwood, Eisner Award winner. For people who don't know the series, Human Target is kind of an obscure DC character. I think it may have came from Charlton, honestly. But it follows a lot of JLI characters. So I think there's there's Green Lantern, there's Booster Gold, there's Blue Beetle, there is Fire and Ice, I believe. So this is a really big tie-in to JLI. My comic book collecting, or my comic book pantheon, JLI is a huge part of my childhood. I'm a big Blue Beetle, Booster Gold fan. Again, my top 5 characters of all time, are Booster Gold, Blue Beetle, Poison Ivy, Death, would be, very high on the list. Well, they would be the top characters for sure. So again, a lot of JLI characters. If you ever see a lot of video where I've got my camera turned around, you'll see a JLI poster right in the background next to my Joust machine. So I'm a big JLI fan. So this is like a cool book set in a different different universe. It's a murder mystery type story. And so it's just a cool setting for a lot of characters I like to exist. So I'm pretty cool and stoked about that. All right, as far as comic books go, so we'll start here with graded comic books. So the first one, and the hard thing here is getting no glare, and I can't really use this. So I think I can just do this maybe. Oh no. Stay. All right, so we'll just go here. Oh, there goes Spidey. I'll take him down too. So the first one here, it's Weird Fantasy 23. This is a Wally Wood cover. And the thing I love about this cover is just how detailed you get that spaceship, the crew, everything in the background. It's just like, because if you think about how this cover is designed, again, hate to have all this glare. If you look at how this cover is designed, it is, like only about half the cover is able to be used for the actual, because you got this rocket and this. So he had to put all this detail in this little half space here. And it's just a lot of detail work. Look at the background. It's just it's been one of my favorite kind of like sci-fi covers of all time, just because of that level of detail. It's not uber expensive, but it's not uber cheap either. Wally Wood stuff is popular. So it's a 7.0. It's a pretty good grade for a book from 1954. So pretty fun, sci-fi pickup. Next is the big book. Again, my 2 Golden Age book, I always look for is Alex Schomburg and L.B. Cole. Now, I probably own between 40 and 60, so let's call it 50 Schomburg cover books right now. So I have a lot of Schomburgs, and I have about maybe 20 to 25, half the amount of L.B. Cole, maybe even less. So I definitely have a lot more Schomburg books than Cole. So every time I go and I make when I go to these shows, I usually try to pick out one, if they're there, either one Cole or one Schomburg book to try to get if they're reasonably priced. And I had a hard time because this dealer that I deal with, he was the guy I bought my first Golden Age book from many, many years ago. So I think his, Fantasy Unlimited, I think is Brent is the guy. So I think that's who it is. But anyway, this, like he has the big books, like really nice X-Men ones, just big books, Wolverines, Hulk 181s, ton of Golden Age. And so I really had to try to determine, do I want to go all in on a big Schomburg book or go on a big Cole book? And to me, when I looked at all the books he had and which one was the most, let's say, iconic cover, to me, this book won for me. It is Weird Tales number 119, the last issue. And again, this is the Blue Bolt Weird Tales, when it went to like a horror anthology, L.B. Cole. This is, to me, like L.B. Cole on steroids. Like literally the entire book has his color palette. That's, we talked about yellows, oranges, greens, reds. Like that's his color palette he loved to play in. This book is literally, the entire book is those colors. You got demons and crazy stuff happening everywhere on this cover. It is, to me, like one of my favorite L.B. Cole covers. He has some other ones that are just ungodly expensive. You've got, there's some other Blue Bolt books that are pretty expensive too. So to me, this was the winner. I mean, he had some Marvel, some timely Schomburgs. That's always expensive. So, he had some Planet Comics. He had some, startling, some, thrilling comics. So like, I could have gone those directions, but to me, I wanted to have another killer L.B. Cole book because I have, again, a lot more killer Schomburg books. So this was just sort of like, collection balancing, but you can't really deny that this is an amazing comic book. And just, one of the coolest looking covers that's out there. So it was, fun to be able to make that purchase and get, a big, huge Cole book off the plate for this year. So I do need to go find a Schomburg book. And there are 2 issues I'm really looking for that have been on my list for a long time. I know where one is, so I have found one copy that I'm looking for. the Vic Bradford book, the robot book, Vic Bradford, I think. And then there is a um, Startling Tales or Startling Comics, like that I've got my eye on. So I think I will have a big Schomburg book before too long. But my last comic book isn't. It's a modern variant for people who know me. I like modern variants. This is one that I believe I have a raw copy, but it's buried somewhere in all my boxes after going to all the Comic Cons and moving stuff around. But it wasn't in a great shape. It was not a high grade. This is a better grade version of it. This is the Blade Vampire Hunter variant cover. I think this is one of the coolest looking Blade books that's ever existed. It is super hard to find. Super hard to find a high grade for sure. It doesn't sell very often, and I got it for a really good price. So I was super stoked to get this book at a good price, and a really nice grade. 9.4 is a good grade for this. Again, this is a pretty old. This is a 1999 variant cover. So this is 25-year-old variant cover. So if you think about it that way, that's not too recent. And I think the print runs in these was a little bit smaller back in the day. I think for the variants, they weren't making variants like they are today. Just everywhere. So with the movie coming out, everyone getting hyped up, I do think I have an opportunity to maybe move it, but it's one of my favorite variant covers. And again, I love the early variant cover and the rare ones. Like, I picked them up over the time. You see them on my channel, so that was a cool one. Now, for my card that I picked up, this is a really unexpected find. And this is what I love about going to shows, is that sometimes you just run into something that you didn't expect to see. For people who, like I always have this card on display, my Uma Thurman, red auto from the 97 Batman and Robin. It's a 10 auto. She did not sign every one of these in red, by the way. A lot of them were in different colors. I do think some of them she put a heart on, so I would have loved to have one with a heart on them. But anyway, it's awesome to have a red one because I think it goes with everything going on there with her hair. And so and I've opened a box of this on my channel. I got skunked. I was looking for another auto. This set is probably it's probably the greatest DC set for cards ever made in terms of autographs. George Clooney's in it. Arnold Schwarzenegger is in it. You've got Alicia Silverstone. You got Uma Thurman. So it's like you've got tons of great actors in it for a small autograph set. I believe it's either 5 or 6 autographs total. So I've always wanted to add, but if you go on eBay, people want a ton of money for even like the Chris O'Donnell auto, the Robin auto. Like they want tons of money for these cards. So I've never really pulled the trigger except for the Uma. Being Poison Ivy, I really wanted to have that one. But at the show, I ran into one that I just was shocked it was there. And it is the Arnold Schwarzenegger Batman and Robin auto. And I'm just kind of shocked it was there. Because again, these were hard to get in those boxes. And the guy said, he opened this in his shop when it first came out. So again, this is like, what year this was. This is like 1997. So 27 years ago, he opened a box of this stuff, pulled this card, and has had it either in his shop or been hauling it around card show and comic book show ever since, and never sold it. And he had it at such a good price comparatively to what it goes for on eBay, like a fraction of what it normally sells for. And I'm just actually shocked that no one's bought it before this because it was such a good deal. But the fact that it was even there, I was just like, whoa, that is like a needle in a haystack of needles. Like, it is really tough. So here's the back. And again, here is the Uma for comparison. So like, here's another card in the set. They do have a stamp on them, like a little It's hard to get in light here, but there is a stamp on them that across the auto. I think you see it right there. That kind of helps with authenticity. The Uma has one too. You can see it right there on the T. So there we go. Like now I have two of the main characters. I need, George Clooney is the one that never sells. That's the Alpha and Omega. But this is the solid number 2 in that set. Solid number 2. So I've got the second and third best card in the set. If I can get the George Clooney, I could theoretically put the set together. And I'm just wondering how many people have this set completed in the whole hobby. Because it's so hard to find the cards to begin with, and they're so expensive. And it's just like one of those really, interesting sets that came out that people don't really think about in terms of amazing 90s autos and card sets, because it's DC. And the movie itself is kind of made fun of for how campy it is. But I know it was kind of a fun movie. I mean, it was very unserious. So I get that people won't like the new serious, grimy versions of Batman, but this was kind of a fun, campy version of it. And I'm just cool that it exists. And we have all, 2 of the 6 cards, I think, in the entire set. Yeah, and I don't even think they numbered them. Like, I don't think it says like it's card number, BR1 or something, No, it's just, there it is. There's an autograph. And the fact that, he's one of the most famous, people in the world makes it where, it's always going to have some value. So that's very cool. As a DC collector, it is, to me, the greatest DC set ever made. In terms of just, content and rarity and value. So, I'm, really stoked to find this card. So that's like, the moral of the story there is just like, the other thing too is like, I was leaving the show. I had to go out and get money at the ATM to pay for the Blade book. I'd spotted it and I knew I wanted to come back and get it. So I made the Obi Cole book deal, paid for it. And then, I went to go get the Blade book. The guy said, I only take cash. So I went and got cash, paid cash. I went and bought the Human Target book. And then right next to the Human Target, the Algonquin, card shop or comic book shop was another dealer. And that's who had this card. So I literally only saw it because I was getting ready to leave. I bought, the last thing. I was getting ready to head out. And I saw a little box of cards on this table. And I saw some autographs in there. And some sketch cards or some insert cards. I'm like, oh, okay. And they were DC. So I'm like, oh, cool. DC cards. Don't see them every day. And then right in the corner, like way over in the corner, like peeking like this was this card with like something on top of it. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that. And then I saw the price. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe it's so cheap. So then I bought it. So that's kind of like one of those things where I should have seen it. And it was literally the first set of tables you walk in that had it. So I'm surprised I missed it the first time around. So anyway, that's the story. Hope you guys enjoy. Just a lot of fun. I enjoy going to these places, talking to dealers, talking to artists. The Comic-Con vibe is so different. It's much more friendly, much more chatty. Card guys are just like trying to flip and make money a lot of times, or there's a little more angsty at the card show. So I'm going to a card show this weekend, probably most likely. So I'll give you a report from that show and see how that went. And, but I do think, there are some different vibes between a Comic-Con and a card show. So, but let me know what you think in the comments, how my pickup day went at the Comic-Con, and I'll see you next time on Cards and Comics. Bye.